Welcome to 5-Star Weekly. We've finally returned and the Leagues Cup is already done. But we've got new transfers in and a run-in that will determine which players that we keep for the next season. We're getting all that and more coming up. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube. Welcome to the show, 5-Star Fam. I'm AJ and this is Michael, and we have finally returned like we said at the beginning. But it is, yes, unfortunately, Leagues Cup is completely done. We did salvage, I guess, a little bit of it. We'll get into that in the news as we'll kind of recap Leagues Cup. But before we do, let's give some major shouts out to our loyal Patreon fam. Ooh, we take 2 weeks off and I'm just tripping over words. But yeah. Our loyal Patreon fam, and most notably Gavin, Jordan, Niall, Andrew, Chris, Nick, Jeff, and Kenneth. You guys are legends. But yes, we have a 1-1 draw on the road again. It is just, I think they do say that, it is almost like a win when you win, like when you draw on the road, but we've done it so many times and we can't win at home at times that it really just becomes, nullified. I think it's, really why we are where we are. But before we get into the match review, let's give some shouts out also to our sponsor. This segment is brought to you by Giant Sports Cards. For passionate collectors of every level, from rookies to veterans, Giant Sports Cards is the modern-day sports card shop that celebrates your love of the game, because only Giant brings the fun, treats every customer like an MVP with their GOAT level of customer service, delivers a game-changing shopping experience through technologies and amenities such as their Ultimate Collector's Cave retail shop, and offers the hottest cards at the lowest prices. Make sure to use our code FANTV and get 10% off your order. Check out Giant Sports Cards today at giantsportscards.com. And make sure to use FanTV on your order so that you can get in on that, because yes, it's not going to last forever. So make sure you use it today. But yes, let's get into the 1-1 draw against CF Montreal back in MLS action. And yeah, it was pretty dire in some senses of finishing, at least for Atlanta United. We fashioned a lot of chances, but we missed chance after chance. And yeah, after that 4-1 win versus Atlas in the Leagues Cup, where we finally got our first win against Gonzalo Pineda of all people, it was kind of some hope where, okay, maybe we try out the same lineup possibly, or maybe there's a little bit more continuity. It seemed, maybe not the case. It was Saba on the left again, Mailbag up top, Miggy back in the 11. Not the meritocracy that, we possibly want to some degree. But yes, the DPs were back in action. And so, yes, I think large in part, though, we still, I think, did enough to probably win the game if we were just a regular side that could finish our chances. But, luckily, CF Montreal were just as bad. But, they did have that one chance that they did put in the back of the net. But, man, I count at least 2 sitters from Emmanuel Lat that unfortunately were not put away. And however way you shake it, we were doing a little bit of kind of research before this match, before this episode rather. And what were the XGs, Mike?
The .41, and the other one was, which was the curved shot, or should have been curved.
Yeah.
That came off of a giveaway from Morales. That was a .20.
Yeah, and basically, yeah, the one that was saved was the .41, and that's, yeah, it very much should have been at least anywhere out of the goalkeeper's hands. And then, yeah, the second one should have probably been a Thierry Henry-esque finish. Bottom right corner, curled into it instead of, man, it just skipped right by. And, I mean, it just kind of exacerbates kind of Latte Lat's season a little bit, is that I think he, larger part, still actually was pretty close to his XG this season. But yeah, these two obviously didn't really help that at all. It's probably added, 2/3 of an XG to, missing. And so, yeah, it's kind of emblematic, unfortunately, kind of probably of our seasons, really. Both us and CF Montreal, where, man, we do this. We can't finish, and this is why we're in 13th and 14th in the league. And yeah, it's I think it's this. If we can't defeat they were basically the bottom team, and this draw basically helped them not be the bottom team. It tells you everything you need to know almost about not only the form but also our season. And yeah, it's just really, really poor, and we had to save it from being a total embarrassment by Moranchuk, who I don't think he really knew much about it either, but I know he felt the ball hit his head. But yeah, an old friend, a very recent old friend in Efrain Morales, who unfortunately headed it into Alexei Moranchuk, and yeah, Moranchuk was able to get into the back of the net to rescue the point. But yeah, thoughts on this match, and kind of your rewatch after you were able to kind of get a gist of just how poor we were.
Yeah, as AJ was hinting at, I'd had to do a rewatch because I was busy kind of hosting a watch party and I didn't catch a lot of it, but c'est la vie, right? Horrible problems to have. Anyway, so yeah, in this game, typically over this season, the course of the season, you're talking about kind of our problematic themes. One of them definitely has been the inability to finish. The other one has been an inability to keep out, a lot of goals, and specifically goals that are of our own creation against us, follies that shoot us in the foot and put us down. In this game, at least, one, I thought the defense was pretty good overall. They only let one in, so that's kind of a semi-improvement. And two, the goal, I wouldn't really consider it a folly. Yes, it was based off of a Hernandez hit out that was meant for Miguel Almiron. They were kind of pressed, and the pass just didn't go to the right direction, went out of bounds, went to a CF Montreal throw. Tiki-taka 1-2. It came, pass across the box into the right to, I don't know, a right winger, whoever that was, Sealy, I believe his name is. And then he took the shot and scored. It was a well-worked goal, well done by them. They had one chance, really, this game. That was, very, high expectation to score, and they really did it. So good for them on that. That's to be expected. You can't be perfect on defense all the time. I thought even, excusing that, I think that the team did pretty good defensively, and you could definitely tell because Stian Gregerson was in there, and I think Berrocal was as well. So you saw some improvement, a significant improvement, I'd say. So that's one thing that seems to, at least in my estimation, to have been tackled a bit, is the frailties on defense. The scoring now is yet to still come. I mean, we've been doing around 2 or so goals, but it hasn't been enough a lot of games. In this one, it was only 1, and we struggled to get that. Some games it is. It really is just we're not getting anything out of it, and you could kind of tell the players, their mentality, the way things are going. It's just not in the cards. And to be honest, we got lucky on this one. This could have easily been 0, which is also ridiculous when you look at the XG of the game from our team, which is well over 2.5. This game was begging for us to score more. We had our chances. We had a lot of them. Miguel Almiron had an incredibly good header that the goalie, let's talk about the goalie for a second. This was his league debut, and he played out of his mind. He played really well. He's, kept Miguel Almiron from that header out. He kept Saba out like multiple times. He kept Latte Lath out. And I guess with that one that had the, the .2 XG, he made himself big enough that it forced him to miss the net. Like, he did a good job as a keeper for the most part. So that's frustrating when you see another, debut player kind of play their lights out in order to stymie you. So, but we created a lot of chances, and a lot of it, specifically stuff from Saba and Moranchuk. Mm-hmm. Those interplays that they had going on were only like inches away from being goals, like multiple times. So, say what you want about the end result of this game. There's a lot to at least be a little impressed with, and anticipating maybe some more to come in the following games, going towards the end of the season. But I think like there could be something to look forward to there, because these chances, when we had a lot of them, were only a little bit here and there off. It could have we could have scored a bushel of goals this game if it just little things here or there, and those things can be adjusted for. And also a lot of it could just be puck luck, right? The ball just didn't bounce this centimeter one way, this centimeter that way. Next time maybe it will. So
yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I think the word for me is encouraging. I think it's also, CF Montreal, not a great side, so creating almost 3 XG against them probably isn't that hard. But unfortunately, and maybe fortunately, they were able to score from their not really even crazy high XG chances that they were fashioning. So an XG lower than 1 for them, what was it, 8 point or 0.8 something. So it's just in some respect, it kind of speaks to how poor they were, but they were able to, I guess, kind of put away their chance when they got it. So, yeah, it's that. But, yeah, like you mentioned with, Berrocal coming in, but also Mihai got the start. Stan Gregerson, I think once they get some match fitness in their legs, and some consistency, I think between them three, we will have at least it seems like anyway, pretty mobile and really units in defense. So that's the plus side for sure, is if we can finally put it together. The question is if it's too little too late, obviously, but that's really the question for the rest of the season completely. But Berrocal, when he came in though, man, when he took that shot from distance and rattled the crossbar, man, that would have been quite an introduction for sure. Left foot as well. I mean, it seems like because he was playing that right-sided center back at the end with Derek Williams playing the left center back, that he's fairly ambidextrous, or both-footed a little bit, so that he can play and maybe be the understudy for both, so that maybe Derek Williams doesn't have to be, because it's always an adventure now when he is in, unfortunately. But and as well, Lennon at left back, somehow, I think kind of escaping a little bit of the troubles that have been plaguing him this season as well. But it is obviously not where we want him really long term, or really probably even on this team possibly, but it depends on who you ask. But either way, I think those are the plus sides, is that we've integrated some of the new recruits. Steven Alzate as well got a cameo, basically MLS debuts for Berrocal and Alzate. And I mean, I think Alzate, it's interesting. I think he offered some kind of different things that obviously our midfield doesn't have, and I think that that bit of steel, that little bit of kind of, I think him on the ball, I feel a little bit more secure at times in the little cameo that he had. And so hopefully, that can translate a little bit. But, obviously, I think that relationship between him and Schleich will be really, really important in how we will be able to really develop that, nourish that, so that's, hopefully we can get a lot more production from our midfield. Maybe it is a kind of, you go, I go, one stays back, one goes forward, and hopefully doesn't play in the same spaces. I think that's the real key for our midfield there. But, did you have any thoughts on Berrocal, Alzate, Mihai?
I thought they played well. They didn't make any goofs or gaffes or anything like that, so that was good to see. And like you said, Berrocal ringing the crossbar is very exciting. So, I'm really interested to see how they progress and how they develop. I'm very positive on all three of them so far. One other point I wanted to touch on in this game is another part of the offensive attack that is a negative that reared its ugly head once again. That was a bit of a theme earlier on in the season, and I guess maybe returned at least a little bit in this game. And that's the head going down and charging forward mentality that Miguel Almiron and Saba Labjanidze specifically in this game did multiple times, to my frustration, to the announcers' frustration, to the fans and everyone else's frustration as well. That they had, and it's always like Miguel to Saba or Saba to Miguel. Both of them, they get the ball, they charge into the space, and the other one runs into the box and is practically open, and that decisive pass very likely could lead to a goal. Both time, at least 2 times. There may have been 3 in this game when this happened. One for Saba specifically, and one for Miguel specifically, whereas, the passer was the opposite one each time. Mm-hmm. So it's frustrating because they just put their head down, and if they just picked it up and noticed there's a runner going into the box, you don't have to just either A, dribble into traffic, or B, I don't know if you plan this out ahead of time or what, but just pass it off to the side. Like in this case, it was to Ronald Hernandez, who put a very poor service kick in that just went to nothing, unfortunately. Whereas the better option was there. Multiple times this game, there was a threaded pass that could have been made that really would have opened this game up. But head down, didn't see it, kept going forward, and everything fizzled out because of that. It's very frustrating to see.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's basically both of them. You start to question if there is a little bit of, maybe animosity is not the right word. Maybe it's too harsh, but maybe there is a little bit of a rivalry between them in the sense of, they both play the same position in the sense that, Saba is better on the right. Miggy probably feels more comfortable on the right. Maybe Saba feels like he's being left out of the side at times for someone that he's kind of outperforming in the assist column, in a sense. And, it's speculation, but, I mean, you start to question why. I mean, yes, both players are the type that runs and dribbles with their head down. They don't look up. But it is one of those things where surely one of them saying something, right? Each of them could easily be like, hey, over here. And, it is just ignored. And
in both cases, both players looking for the ball had their hands out, running at the other one like this. Yeah. But, they didn't see it because their head was down.
Right. And so,
and both players were very frustrated afterwards, too.
Right. And I think it speaks to, the complete lack of chemistry between them. I mean, I don't think we've seen a pass between them that ended up in an assist. I can't recall. I mean, it's, nothing that springs to immediate mind. And I think that's pretty much, what that is. But
even if there is, that doesn't, disprove what you're saying. There should be more, and there really isn't.
Right. And yes, they're not an immediate connection because, yes, they're usually on opposite sides of the pitch, or they should be anyway, when, well, Miggy sometimes is obviously, kind of drifting to the left as well. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's that. I think there should be a little bit more awareness, too, in both of their minds is, okay, well, if you see the other one drifting into the other position, we'll just switch wings and, get into the zone that you feel like you can be successful in, but just kind of coordinate it a little bit. Total football, a little bit more, kind of, okay, well, you go over there, I'm going to go over here. And, having that kind of awareness to fill in the spaces and the gaps in the zones that will make us dangerous. But maybe that's asking too much. Yeah, at least for Alexei Miranchuk, he has 4 goals in 5 games. And, yeah, he's definitely, I think, picking up, a lot of steam, a lot of, not only goal stats, but assist stats as well. And so, I think he's earning a little bit of that keep, and I think we'll need a lot more of that because, like I said at the top of the show, it's going to be very important that any of the guys that want to be on the team next year, you got to start performing right now because there's no other time. But let's wrap up this match review. But
two more points real quick.
Sure.
One thing is another. So we talked about an offensive, problematic habit that we've seen kind of come back in the heads going down thing. Now I want to talk about one on defense, and it happened once that I recall, at least in the first half of this game, where, Atlanta United, off of corners or throw-ins, we repel the initial attack, and the ball goes back out, gets recycled, and immediately gets pushed back in again. And in this case, Montreal takes a shot, and it's off the woodwork, likely beating Guzan to the near post from that shot. So again, we're seeing, unable to clear our lines off of a set piece, and we could have easily been punished for it, and we were close to being punished for it there. The second point was the 24th minute. Guzan rolled the ball out to a center back, and then that center back passes it to Tristan. Tristan decides to pass it all the way back under hit to Guzan. This almost allows Montreal to score on us easily there. That should have probably been like the goof of the game that we were all always expecting Atlanta to do. So we almost had one, but we didn't, luckily. And that could have been because Montreal is not a very good team. If this was a better team, that's probably a goal. So
yeah, we would have been punished.
Not very good right there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's really, again, it's just like, every single game we have those type of hospital balls that just are not the move. I mean, it's just like, yeah, if you're gonna pass back, like you gotta hit it crisp, or make sure that it's in a good spot so that whoever receives it can quickly get onto it instead of, what we've seen all season, where it's a questionable ball. Like, why are you passing back to begin with anyway? And then passing it into a very dangerous area. It's just, you're almost begging to be punished. But, very great points. And it's just, again, kind of what we see match after match, just in slightly different forms. But, so LA United will go to the Colorado Rapids side of America for Saturday's match, and we will have that review or preview later on for you in this episode. But let's get into the news. And so LA United has exercised the buyout of a guaranteed contract on defender Luis Abram, the tenure for Abram is mercifully over. He wasn't terrible this season, but there were some whispers about maybe a little bit of some toxic behavior, but we won't besmirch his name on his way out. It's just, yeah, there were some things that, maybe left a lot to be desired from a locker room standpoint, but also from an on the pitch standpoint. Yeah, I think we finally are getting maybe a little bit more of the player that we want to get. One, a center back that's a unit. Two, a center back that also has pace. Three, a center back that maybe is decent on the ball. Just kind of some basics for a center back. Instead of, unfortunately, a lot of times it just seemed like it was a warm body. And for the, wages that he was on, it was, way too much. And it was a smart buyout at the very least. I think some other people wanted Alexei Miranchuk to be that guy, but I don't think they were ever really going to do it. Not this season, anyway. But, any thoughts? Yeah, I know you had a little bit of some remarks in there, but yeah.
Yeah, I classified Luis Abram as this is what I think. Like, I don't think that this is necessarily true or whatever. It's just a theory that I have, and the theory that I've kind of the word I put to it to describe it is mercenary. I've just used this to describe these types of players that have played for us for seasons and seasons now. That what a mercenary is to me is someone who comes to the club, doesn't really care what the club is, doesn't have initial buy-in, doesn't really care about the culture or creating something here. They're just there to get a paycheck. They're there to, play the game. And if they play it well, good for them. Like, if they're good, that's great. But you can tell these guys aren't here because they necessarily love the club or want to build something here. Either they're looking to another club, or they are and to a degree I'm understanding of this, because Atlanta United is a relatively young club. It's not like people grew up watching this and going wow, someday I want to play for them and this is my boyhood club or whatever. That doesn't really happen very often for us. So I get that. And it's also, we don't have a storied history exactly. We have one, we have two really good seasons, one excellent one. But outside of that, it's not like we're just this team that's known for winning all the time. Quite on the opposite. So when people come here, there isn't this initial buy-in that they have for the club. It has to kind of be created. You have to come in thinking we need to make something here. And I don't think any of those players over the last several seasons really came in with that mentality. It's just more so just a extravagant pickup game. Everyone just is a collection of players. Yeah, they're all pretty good. Throw them together. Let's just play for a little bit, and then we'll all head out. I don't want all head out afterwards in their mind. I want them to come here to build something, to make something that's lasting. The culture of Atlanta United, because unfortunately, I just don't think we really have one very, a persistent one that other players can come and be attracted by here and be wow, that's an interesting club. I want to go play for them. Aside from all the money they're offering me, there's these cool things that they have too, and there's blah blah blah, right? And the culture of the club, and I can help add to that legacy of some sort, this culture that they have there. You just don't really have that. So when these guys come here and they just play for the paycheck or whatever, I call that mercenary behavior. And so I think Luis Abram is kind of the prototypical example of that. Good player, but I just don't think he had his heart in the club. And a lot of other players that come through these doors have been like that too over the last several seasons. And so I want to get away from that. And I think, and to be honest, it's hard. I think Chris Henderson perhaps can figure it out. He can spin a narrative, sell the club to these players in addition to the amount of money that we're offering them, to say how Tata Martino and Darren Eales sold it and Bocanera sold it in the very beginning. We're building something here, something unique, something special. You can be a part of that. And that got players jazzed to come here. But I feel like we haven't had that in forever. So if Chris Henderson can figure that out, get guys to come here for in addition to money, that would be really, really cool. And that's what I'm expecting to see from this new crop of players that are coming in.
And yeah, it's Chris Henderson definitely has the weight of that now because, of course, with Lagerwey on medical leave essentially, and so yeah, he definitely almost has to be the CEO in a sense too, in that regard. And yeah, I mean, as you're saying, yes, there is this kind of thing about where, yes, you will be well paid if you play for LA United. The checks don't bounce, unlike in other countries. And yes, there is the aspect where, you will play in a very, very large stadium with usually a lot of fans, probably more fans than you're used to. And so, if you can do well, then, in the off chance, maybe in that sense, because right now most of the players are not doing crazy well. But yeah, you would be able to kind of make a little bit of a name for yourself. But yeah, I think that's the conundrum is also Luis Abram. Like, I think you want characters on your team. You want people that are lovable. You want people that are maybe part of the community. Or we didn't hear anything about him. And
some bravado, like a guy who comes out and says like, yeah, like Yorgos Akimakis, for all of his faults, like came out and was like, yeah, we're gonna win this next game. We are going to win. Like and like Luis Abram doesn't come out and say that. Like, I would like to see other players get more fired up for the club and to, and to a degree hold other players accountable by saying like, I am going to force us to win by saying we're going to win before the game starts. Like, that kind of thing to the press and everything.
Yeah. And it's we'll get off of Braum, pretty shortly here, but
because it's not just Abram.
Exactly.
To be clear, he's just the example. Like, this has been a perpetuating thing for a while now.
Right. He's just probably one of the highest paid ones that just had to have his contract bought out. But, really with the likes of, say, even Efrain Morales, where you saw that fire when he was on the pitch, you saw that he was fighting for the badge. But yes, he just wanted more playing time because it was kind of nuts, almost in a sense, that he was not getting as much playing time. And Luis Abram was. And I think we were seeing that, yeah, he more or less was outperforming him. Or even the likes of Noah Cobb, where we saw in those Rooted in the Stripes videos where he is fighting for the badge and he is absolutely calling out everybody that's older than him, and that's very many in the locker room, and essentially saying, you guys, like, we are not doing well enough. And essentially he grew up supporting this club. He is one of those that actually, this is his boyhood club. And, when the younger guys are, absolutely becoming, more of a locker room presence than the guys that are the highest paid, there's a lot of problems. And I think that's exactly why we're where we're at. But anyway, so let's move on. So as well, mentioned, of course, Steven Alzate. He came from Hull City, and yeah, he, obviously is a player that's, maybe not obviously, but he has played for Ronnie Deila previously in the past. And yeah, it's one of those coming from the championship. I think, a decent level of player, a league that absolutely is very physical. So I think that will translate well to MLS. But yeah, definitely someone that's, I think, well, maybe previously anyway, because he's no longer, I think, probably good enough to be on the Colombian national team. But yeah, at least was playing for them as late as 2022, I believe. But yeah, as well, Juan Berrocal as well has come in. He's on loan with an option to buy, and I think we've talked about him slightly. But a player that obviously is a unit, will win a lot of headers. Might wow us a little bit with his aggressiveness, and I think that's what's going to be really, I think, maybe whether he gets some starts or not, but it's the kind of willingness to kind of maybe go on a walkabout, get involved in the attack. When's the last time, besides Stian Gregerson when he's like healthy, right, exactly. But besides him, because we know that he is willing to do that, but he's the only other one that has. It used to be LGP was going on walkabouts all the time and getting involved in the attack, especially when you're just controlling possession. You're in their half. Yeah, you need that other attacker. You need somebody to play off of. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Miles did a little bit too. When he did that, we were dangerous because he obviously draws out players, and then that allows our attackers to be more open. Like when I see other teams do that, I get so frustrated sometimes because I'm like, why don't we do that more? It's like, that makes a lot of sense. Wow, let's add our center back to the, like, if he gets on the ball and then starts advancing into close to the box, that forces the other team to go, oh crap, we didn't factor this in. We didn't plan for a center back making a run at the box. Like, we need to, that throws the team out of alignment. And then that allows you to do some things that, they're not prepared for. So like I said, I get frustrated when I see that against us because it throws us out of alignment. So it's good when we do it. And Stian tries to do it. Robinson used to a little bit here and there, LGP obviously. And hopefully this guy, Berrocal, can follow suit with that because it's really effective when it works out. Obviously, you can get caught out, and that's not great, but
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of also, if you have Stian Gregerson, kind of behind you, he will probably be able to snuff out most of that anyway. So I think that's really where it's going to help us, and especially in some build-up, because that's really been, I think, part of our major issues is that. But next.
One more thing about Berrocal is that the main thing that seems to be hammered down in the Root and the Stripes episode was that Berrocal's being brought in for his leadership traits. Apparently, that was a huge reason they got him. So that's really good. Obviously that's something the club has pinpointed that they need reinforcement in leadership, and hopefully we can add to that because we have had a dearth of leadership for a while now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Stian Gregerson was a captain with his former club Bordeaux, but I think we've yet to see a lot of maybe what that maybe really entailed, but Mihai as well, Berrocal. We know Schleich has worn the armband at times as well, so it's hopefully we can start collecting these former captains, or at least leaders from other sides, and start to kind of build this leadership base that is, like you're saying, just absolutely needing it. But so next bit is that Academy product and two standout Cooper Sanchez was also announced as a new homegrown for Atlanta United, and he will have that contract through the 2028 season with basically, he will be a homegrown in 2026, but options in 2027 and 2028. But he was used in the Leagues Cup match. We were definitely woefully short in the midfield. So I mean, the 17-year-old definitely deserves it. But he showed a good bit of panache when he did come on. The moment didn't seem too big for him. Hopefully, I mean, teenager, he definitely has a bright future in front of him if he can, parlay this into a lot more appearances. But, it is also still, per the MLS roster rules, that, he will only be eligible for in-season league play with short-term call-ups. So there will be a little bit of a limit, but I would expect him to really only be used in a pinch anyway. But it's definitely great to see that. Any thoughts on Sanchez? Yep, all good. But Nick Sessock, he has also been signed with a contract through the end of the 2025 season with the option for 2026. So yeah, he will be one of our kind of fullback options, and of course he had that really great cross for Cayman Togashi in the 4-1 win against Atlas, where, I mean, yeah, he showed a good delivery, early delivery, and very good, I think, aggressive defending early in the fullback position. So definitely someone that will be able to help us from a defensive standpoint to possibly see out a match if we are leading. Think of that. But yeah, hopefully so. But yeah, let's get into the Leagues Cup roundup. Obviously, we lost the first 2 matches, and that pretty much effectively knocked us out of the tournament, because yes, it is the top 4 of each pretty much league, that being MLS and Liga MX, that pretty much advanced to the next round. And so of course that match against Atlas was a dead rubber, and in which case we were able to embarrass our former head coach in Gonzalo Pineda. Unfortunately, yeah, and that is the next bit of news, is that yes, he resigned, actually, apparently, but you know, it probably comes from the embarrassment, unfortunately, of actually losing to his former side, and probably, well, the pretty poor season that they were already having anyway. And you know, Liga MX fans are known for being a little bit rough, a little bit, you know, scathing. So it could have been a little bit part of that as well. But yeah, I mean, as far as some milestones for that Atlas game, yeah, I mean, let's see, the yeah, where you saw Sessock, he picked up his first career start. Cayman Togashi scored his first goal of the season. Let's see as well, and a hell of a goal. Saba also scored his first goal of the 2025 season. That's just wild, but exactly. I think, yeah, man, to pick from those, it's probably gonna be Saba's, but man, yeah, it's just, yeah, it was just the, you know, hit it, top bins, and keeper couldn't do anything about it. It was just, you got a hand on it, still couldn't. But also, most importantly, I guess, maybe in a sense, in a very unimportant match, LA United got the monkey off the back with the first Leagues Cup win in our history, which, yeah, you just kind of have to laugh. It's just like that. It took damn well enough, long enough, but yeah. So also Jamal Tiare, he scored his 4th goal of the 2025 season. And yeah, Bartosz captain for the first time this season. So, yep. Yeah, the really curious part about this match was Tristan Muyumba, at least in this previous match. This bit of news was just really perplexing. He played Tristan Muyumba against CF Montreal, and halftime, Will Riley came on. But Dyla said that, yeah, Muyumba wasn't 100% fit. So it's really perplexing why he started. It probably aided into why there was some passbacks, maybe because he didn't have the legs to maybe make those lung-busting runs that we've seen from Muyumba, or, you know, going and getting into the box, combining with play. It seemed, yeah, just a very strange Muyumba performance, and I think that's what we see from him when he's not fit, when he's, yeah, doesn't have the legs. And yeah, I think that's really the problem is with Muyumba is, you know, he hasn't really been injured, but why is he not 100% fit? It's a bit strange, but
I'm really disappointed that Muyumba back heel to Emmanuel Latela shot did not go in. That would have been beautiful.
Yeah.
Because that was a great back heel.
It was. I know. Yeah, that's more on Lat de Lat. That's not a Muyumba, but
That's why I say it's unfortunate for him because
Right.
it's like he got it in there. He got his like he contributed in the way he was needed to contribute, but it just didn't pan out. So the rest of the game, you're looked at like, well, you're a planned substitution now, and that's all everyone will think of it in this game, and that's unfortunate.
Right. But next bit of news is that Ronnie Dallas said that Alzate and Berrocal, they will have visa appointments coming up in Toronto, or at least probably already happened since we're recording this on a Tuesday, full transparency. But so yes, they would be training separately as well. But basically they would have to go from Montreal to Toronto to back to Atlanta. And the whole visa process is highly confusing and annoying, but yes, hopefully they can get that sorted so that they can actually play in Atlanta, which is the wild part. But welcome to the we won't get into that anyway.
One more thing before we move too far away from Leagues Cup, I did want to say one thing is that if you don't know, Necaxa, one of the team we lost to in the first match, they're having a documentary filmed about them. That
Ava Longoria, Ryan,
Ava Longoria, the guys from Wrexham, they're doing a thing with them, and it's possible we might end up in that documentary at some point because of that loss in Leagues Cup, because that was a very big thing for them as a team. They got really excited from winning that match. So, could have been. Who knows? We might end up in a documentary as one of the scalps in the early part of their season of that documentary.
Yep. As much as I love Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhaney, man, that's going to be really painful to watch if that does happen, which, likely. But, so next bit of news, and we're going to wrap up the news real quick here. Mikey Ambrose has become the head coach of UPSL side, Foro SC. So, he's, moving on into some coaching, which is, great for him. But, definitely, an old name that probably none of us have ever thought about, or not ever, but haven't thought about in some time. But and last bit of news, Atlanta United 2 defeated Toronto FC 3-1 to earn its fourth win of the season in York Lions Stadium. And Patrick Weah, Ryan Carmichael, and Rodrigo Neri each scored to help earn the first road win of the season, which, seems like Atlanta United and Atlanta United 2 both have the same problems. But they got the monkey off their back, which, man, that's wild. But, anyway, so let's move on to the mailbag. And you guys send in these questions through Discord and IG story. Please continue to do so, and we might answer your question in the future. But first question comes from, let's see, we got Luke in, Miller in, Hibbert in, asks, what's worse, Atlanta United fan in 2025 or being a Ferrari F1 fan? I don't know if you follow any F1, but I don't really either. Yeah, probably, because it just feels truer and more, it hits more at home. Yeah, so, but, and if you're a Ferrari F1 fan, well, there's still Ferraris, so it's not that bad. But just stupid logic. But anyway, Winless in 5, right? Winless in 5 says, where does Ronnie go from here? Should we expect him to put the kids in after it's not mathematically possible, quote unquote, or should we expect Miggy and Latte to stay in? Same with bad performances from Muyumba and Lennon, who have been outperformed by their backups.
Yeah, I'll say there's it's kind of a double-edged sword. I think you can look at it two ways. The first way is that, yes, you could, if you put the kids in, you get them to have the experience that everyone wants kids to have. right? And that's a good thing overall. And we want more of that when it makes sense. And it seems to make more sense when we're already mathematically made from being playoffs, which is a very real possibility coming up. So that's one part of it. The other part is that you want to have, in this part of the season, even when it doesn't matter anymore, you still have plenty of games left to play, and those are opportunities for our DPs and other players on this team who have demonstrated an incredible lack of chemistry and cohesion with each other this season. Gives them an opportunity to build chemistry and cohesion with themselves. So, next season rolls around, we don't have to just wait for them to build it again. They can hopefully already have a foundation in place that's pretty solid by then. But if you put a kid at and you chop change a lot in your lineups, you don't have the consistency for the chemistry building that you'd want to have. So while yes, you give the kids, their opportunities, you can possibly take away from not starting your ideal starting 11. In that case, you stand to slow the growth of chemistry from your starting 11. So it's back and forth. So it's whatever Ronnie, I guess, wants to do. I don't know if there's exactly, I'm sure some happy medium is the right way of doing it, but yeah.
Yeah, and because that is the difficulty, because when you have underperforming DP stars or players on high wages, well, if they underperform, well, they're going to be really difficult to move. And so they're probably going to be on the team, especially if they have a contract through the 2025 season. So, yeah, I think Miggy's going to be on the team. And, Moranchuk likely is going to be on the team. Lat, of course, as well, probably so. But with the other players, there could be a little bit more chopping and changing, a little bit more, seeing what quantity we have and how they can produce and really start to be integrated into the side. So, yes, maybe the likes of a Jaden Hibbert, maybe the likes of Luke Brennan get to play a bit more. Maybe Will Riley as well at times, a little earlier. Because we have the known quantities that we know, say in Muyumba. And, with Lennon, I think we know what we have there too. I don't know if Nick Sessock is the, answer moving forward, but there are some other options that, with Dominique Changqui that could possibly see a little bit more time. It would have to be a contract that we would have to kind of figure out there as well, because I think his, short-term agreements have already been all used. But, I think these are some things that I think I want to see, though, as far as, what are the quantities that we have in these question marks around the roster. So, I think it's going to have to be a little bit of a mixture of it. But, if fans are going to get all up in arms about it, maybe why is Lat still starting, or Miggy, or, it's just like the reasons I outlined above. It's absolutely that. But next question comes from greatest Ty Baribo fan. What's the perfect back line at the moment with Stian, Berrocal, Mihai, and Williams, and I guess Ronald in the mix for just two positions, unless a back? I'm not sure if he finished his sentence there, but either way, I think there is a question in there.
My guess is probably Stian and Mihai with Berrocal as a good filler, and I guess Williams in a pinch. I'm not sure Williams will be here next season, so that's probably why we're loading in so many center backs. So I think that'll probably be the three main ones, and I know that Ronnie likes to play in a back two with two center backs, so that's what he's eyeing up likely for at least next season, for the rest of this season, probably. Even though he's played with back three and other things like that, I think his desired formation is with a back two. So I think you'll see Stian and I think you'll see Mihai in those positions consistently. At least that's what will be the goal, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's probably going to be them two, because also Stan Gregerson, I mean, when he's healthy, I think you see the difference that he makes in this side. I mean, it's just, we're a lot more assured in possession. We were a lot more assured in defense as well. It very much, as far as anything aerially, he sweeps it up, cleans it out, and it's just like, yeah, you feel, I think in large part, that you have that safety valve back in your defense again, but it's the problem is, can he stay healthy? And that's probably why Berrocal was also brought in, so that in the inevitable, maybe hopefully not, that Gregerson is injured, that you have someone that's you're still also trying out for a possible role in the next time that you have to bring in somebody else. But next question comes from, if my thing will reload quickly enough. It doesn't seem like it does. Okay, that is strange. Well, I want to go to my phone real quick to be able to see it. So give me 1 second while I do that. Okay, so next question comes from, let's see. A lot of people asking very many of the same questions. Rinchan Kyoto, yep. And also Easton Ulseth 1. When do we get a new coach, new management? Why haven't we sacked Dyla? Yeah, I mean, I think we've yeah, I think we've said this kind of ad nauseum in our live streams, and also when we've had our podcast, is that, yeah, these moves that we just brought in were with Ronnie Dyla in mind, and he was in the room when they were brought in. It's very unlikely that he is going to be let go this season. In the middle of next season, if results are not happening and they're kind of in the same kind of not even ballpark, but like in the same kind of, we'll say inning, to go with a metaphor, in the same inning, then yeah, we will probably make the move to step away from Ronnie Dyla. But I think at this moment he's here to stay, at least for the rest of this season. But yeah. Next question comes from also, yeah, two of the pretty similar questions. Will M41 and Jack Strawn says, what's the main issue with the team? Is it the players or other things? What do you think is Atlanta's biggest flaw? Seems like people want to know what the reason is. But
so a lot of people, a lot of people have complained about Ronnie's tactics. Like, I don't think they're the main reason and culprit for why the team is the way it is. I think it's the players, and we've talked about this many times. I believe it's the core kind of spine of the team that pretty much needs to be exchanged for a brand new one. So a lot of those players I don't think will be here. I mean, they've already started moving them. I still think there's some to move on from and get new blood in. And I think once that core, and these are like the non-DPs, because I don't think the DPs matter that much. They obviously, these DPs are underperforming, and that's not great. But I think a lot of DPs would be underperforming on this team. I don't think it's the DPs. I don't think it's the coach. I don't think it's the front office. I think it's kind of the core of this player base that's been here for a little while. And that has instilled kind of a culture of like a mercenary perspective of like not caring as much about the badge. One of the commentators said one time, like, I don't think this team is strong enough to carry the weight of the badge. And I really do think that's the case for a lot of the players. We need guys who are in here, like I said earlier in this episode, that are willing to do so and can actually do it. And they don't just say they want to do that and they don't necessarily, have the chops for it. So we'll see if we can, go down that pathway and get those types of players in. Because like I said earlier, I get it. It's kind of hard to tease that out. What players are genuine, what players are not. But I have a lot of faith that Chris Henderson can tease that out. He seems to have been able to do it in the past. So, yeah, I'm hoping out for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I echo a lot of those sentiments. And, yeah, I think in large part, it's still excising the demons of Carlos Bocanegra and, kind of what he's built, unfortunately, which, it's a house of cards. So pretty much it's been pretty difficult to build a really strong foundation when, what's beneath it is very fragile. But last question comes from Jair Raimondo. He asks, I feel ELL would be better as a winger on this team. He struggles in tight spaces. Interesting.
I don't think he does. I don't necessarily agree with that. I've seen him in the past in his previous lives. He's done very well in tight situations. He's done very well in the situations where you need to be extremely clinical in small spaces, things like that. That's one of the reasons we got him. So I just don't buy that he's lost that. I don't buy that he's lost his finishing ability, all that kind of stuff. I believe all that will come good again once the team starts to play better and more cohesive. Because I think ELL, like a lot of players, and unfortunately this is something I've talked about a lot in the past, that a lot of them are confidence-based players. Most human beings are in basically all of their life, so it's not like it's an insult or something. It's just some players are more resistant to it. But if if things aren't going your way and your confidence gets shot and you get the yips and you blah, 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 you get in your head, you see a player fall apart who otherwise can be very good. So, but that doesn't mean that they'll stay that way. I think you get a good team behind him that can facilitate him, get some goals going early in the season. Maybe he has some dips here and there, gets into a small rut like Joseph Martinez did at some point, but he always came back. So I think ELL will be able to do the same thing. We just need to get a good team behind him.
Yep. Yeah, fully agree. I think it's one of those as well. Him being left-footed. He can play with his right as well at times. He's not, a very, very left-footed player, but it's going to be a little strange because the only open other spot is left wing. And so, are you going to bring in a striker that's not a DP? I think we've made our bed. He's our striker, and he's proven that he can be at other sides, and it's just about feeding him with enough chances where he also can get some confidence. Again, this is a man that, has kind of had his whole world, upside down this season because, it is just one, he's not getting enough service, and then he finally is getting some service, but then he's, he was pressing at those few chances, sometimes maybe only even one chance per game, and it's those yips, and I've felt that in my life before. I get it. It is not easy to shake it, and when maybe the people around you, the support isn't there per se. It can really compound, and it's a real,
almost as if your team is a band of mercenaries who after the game go into the locker room and they just say, great game everyone, and then they just leave, and then you're sitting there, your head in your hands going I can't believe I missed those shots today. We've been really great. I mean, like I said earlier, say what you want about Yorgos Giacomakis, but when Xande Silva missed that one sitter in 2024, I think, he put his arm around Xande afterwards and was it's all right, buddy. And then Xande didn't have a mental crash out from that. I don't see that level of camaraderie with this team. I don't know if, ELL feels like they have his back in a really genuine way. So maybe, that's one of the things that probably has to change.
Right. Indeed. And, I guess it's also, some people might be of the ilk oh, well, woe is me, these millionaires, crying to the, millions of dollars that you make every single season. But, we're all humans at the end of the day, and it's, it's not a, a solitary thing. You play on a team. You're part of a club. There's a lot of people that make the success of a club, and I think we've fallen away from it, to be honest. I think that's the if we're going back to the other questions of why we are kind of, why we suck the way we do, it is very much that. It's, we've had a lot of values that have been essentially phased out of the club, and yeah, it's high time that we try to figure out how to get back to it. But let's get into the match preview. It is 9:30 on August 16th at the DSG Park for Colorado Rapids. 13th place, us, with a negative 16 goal difference versus 8th place, Colorado Rapids, with a negative 7 goal difference. But the Rapids, they last played to a 2-1 win versus Minnesota United, and we last played them, Colorado Rapids, to a 4-0 win May 18th, 2023. So it's been a couple years, and our last 5 against them, we've won 4, they've won 1, 0 draws, so we've kind of had their number. But it is definitely a very, very different LA United side versus this Colorado Rapids side that is coached now by Chris Armas. And they've also mid-season trade, they traded Jordy Mihailovic to Toronto, and so definitely a big player for them. Has departed mid-season. Last offseason, they also lost Abubakar, Jonathan Lewis, Jasper Loffelsind, but they added Josh Atencio, Chidozie Awaziem, and Ted Ku DiPietro. They, obviously, as 8th in the Western Conference, they're not doing too poorly, probably exceeding their expectations to a degree because, yes, the pundits had them pretty much finishing as low as 15th. Some had them as high as 6th, but majority had them around 13th or 14th. So definitely exceeding some expectations. But, and they're kind of led by Rafael Navarro, who's got 9 goals, 2 assists, their striker this season. So in some respects, they are, kind of, I guess, subverting those things that maybe a lot of the pundits might have thought they were going to be, but they are not really a great side at defending. That's why they got Noah Cobb in the transfer window as well. They needed some players, and yes, Cobb kind of did decently for them in his appearance for them recently. But yes, they're a good side at creating chances, but other than that, they're not particularly good at much else. They do take a lot of shots. They will attack through the middle, be incisive there, and they will cross pretty often. But as far as being a side that we should fear, well, we should only fear them because we're a worse side, and we are highly susceptible to a lot of facets of the game, to be honest. But I think hopefully with an improved defense, at least centrally, we can maybe at least start to kind of snuff out some of the chances that they may have. But let's get into some match facts. There have been over 2.5 goals scored in the Rapids' last 7 games, so there will be goals. But the other fact is that LA United have drawn 5 of their last 6 matches in MLS. So, doesn't bode well as far as winning, and especially on the road, where the ever-elusive win is just probably not happening. But, you will be in the Mile High City, where air is thinner. Oxygen will be a little bit more of a premium. But, the unavailable players, let's get into that. Pedro Amador, hamstring, likely still out. Matt Edwards, hamstring, also out. Jay Fortune, of course, is out for the rest of the season. Cooper Sanchez, with a quadriceps is also out. And Jamal Tiare, he was out for the previous match with a calf, and probably likely will still be out as well. So, yeah, let's get into our starting 11 then. Goalkeeper. Do you think Hibbert is going to start, or do you think it's Guzan?
I would love for Hibbert to start, but it's going to be Guzan.
Yeah, very likely until maybe we are mathematically out. But even then, I'm not so sure. It's
they'll be like, well, it's his last season, maybe.
Yeah,
so we'll just give him a run out for the rest. Yeah,
exactly. But into the center back pair, who do you got?
Yeah, I'm doing the 4-2-3-1. Basically the exact same lineup we had last game, except for one change. So I'll let you know when that change shows up.
Okay, all right. So Gregerson, Mihai in the center back starting pair. Hernandez and Lennon as probably the fullbacks, as there are starting level, quote unquote starting level fullbacks that we have left, really. And into midfield, I would imagine
that's where I have the change. If the visa comes through, I would like to see Alzate play instead of Tristan.
I would hope, but I also wonder if he is match fit. I think he was having a preseason with Hull City, but still, either way, I
guess Ronnie's cool with playing substitutions of his number 8, so just do that.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have someone that can last the whole 90, and if we need to. So yeah, I think I'd rather go Schleich and Riley. Since you get a whole week's worth of rest, it's probably going to be Muyumba, probably, but I think we both have our picks as who we want to be the number 8. But into the number 10 position, Alexei Miranchuk, he's scored 4 and 5 now, so yeah, I think you go with a hot hand. Also, he's not coming out of the side, so let's be honest. But the wingers, you said nothing else is going to change. Are you going to start Saba? Brennan's also, lurking.
I think Saba had an excellent, there's a couple of caveats, but I would say he had a very good game. So he was all over the place in Montreal. If he has that kind of energy and maybe picks his head up once in a while, he could really be a difference maker. We know he can be, but he was just this far away from scoring multiple times last game, so maybe he can do it in Colorado. Yeah,
and he has been looking a little bit better on the left as well, so I think it's just like we're saying, confidence. But yeah, Miggy on the right, Latte Lat up top. I don't think Cayman Tagashi is going to usurp Latte Lat, even though he missed those couple sitters. So yeah, I think he's got to have kind of that short memory, Latte Lat, kind of that, in baseball terms, kind of that really short memory, and kind of a closer mentality of sorts, where you gave up a home run. Next night, you gotta shake it off. You gotta put the game away, and I think this is kind of that same thing that Latte Lat has to pretty much kind of do is. Okay, you missed a couple sitters. You get those chances. Put the game away. And so, ultimately, will this side be able to do it? That is the grand question. Score prediction time. Mike, what do you got?
So, I know we didn't do this on the episode we didn't film, but at the watch party for Montreal, I guessed correctly for that score prediction for that game 1-1. So let's see. I know there's no video evidence of that, unfortunately, but AJ can at least corroborate that.
Never happened.
For this game, I'll say I want to say my heart wants to say 2-2. Feel like wow, Saba Miranchuk get goals. Maybe if it's not Miranchuk, it's ELL. That's what my heart wants, but I probably realistically be thinking it's 2-1 Colorado, but I'm going to hold out for the 2-2, so that'll be my wish.
Man, your heart is saying that it's a draw. It's not even a win, that it's a draw for your heart. Man, yeah. I mean, I think it's a 2-2 draw.
Against a better team than Montreal, away, like,
Yeah.
I
get it. I get
it's
it.
a tall... I mean, they're not great, but it's still a tall order.
Yeah, it's, you know, with the travel, with the, you know, higher elevation, it's going to be tough, for sure. Yeah, I think best case scenario is a draw, unfortunately. And so, yes, 2-2 draw for me. You know, if it's better than that, thank heavens. So, you know, hopefully that is the case.
And also, Tyler Pilgrim will be really happy about this, is we will likely be able to see Cayman Tagashi in that game, because you know, Alzate often doesn't make it the full 90, and TRA is injured. So that'll be exciting to see if he can continue to kind of wow us a bit when he makes his little his short appearances.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also Latte Lat doesn't make the full 90s because, or play the full 90s because TRA, he's a pretty high-priced backup striker and, you know, a decent one. So I think that is partially part of the reason why that he is subbed out sometimes. Although
that's part of it. And also, Latte Lat has said in the press conferences that he realizes that fitness is an issue and he's working on it as best he can, he said.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he said that admittedly that, yes, MLS schedule is tough. And, yeah, you know, it is part of it. I think, you know, MLS scheduling and also travel is no joke. Like, you gotta be able to handle the rigors of, you know, at least 5-hour flights. It's at the very least. So, you know, not easy whatsoever. Yeah. Right, exactly. Yeah, he didn't really have an off season. And yeah, he was, you know, injured a little bit for a little bit of time. So that maybe served as a sense for that. But, you know, obviously he was rehabbing and it probably wasn't a cakewalk. So, you know, obviously that is all part of it. But anyway, guys, what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. But that pretty much does it for the episode, except for the question of the day. The question of the day is, were you surprised that Gonzalo Pineda didn't win against us in the Leagues Cup?
I know I was, but I underestimated how bad Atlas was.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, it's we saved ourselves from that embarrassment, but yeah, wow. Gonzalo Pineda. Again, great guy, but man, that is rough goings for sure. So anyway, let us know in the comments below. Looking forward to what you have to say. But guys, that is the episode there and there. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. That's Michael. I'm AJ. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.